All right, so just minutes after and my last video, and I've come up with a bit of an idea, and hopefully, I was hoping the last idea could roll me into more, but into more content. But let's go. So I gotta tell you, I've talked about this experience I had almost 7 months ago, where I felt like I finally was growing, changing, having a presence, and not dumping out everything that I learned or everything I experienced or everything that I picked up, just to keep those things with me and move forward with them and hope and try to go higher and more and forward, basically. That's success right there on that X and Y chart. That's success. This is not success. This is not success. Even this is not success. This is success. So I learned to do that. But in the beginning, I'd say, I really got to know myself, as a solo individual, when it comes to just me. It was really learning about myself, really putting it together, really even gauging where the world was compared to me and where different people were compared to me. And believe me, things change. I mean, even so many years, even in here, all of a sudden there was like all kinds of, people acting different. All of a sudden, people switching up on me, my situation changing, and all this stuff going on in my life, and things were changing because people kind of realized who I really was. And when they understood who I really was, it's like there was a big change, And I wouldn't say it's sudden because I feel like I worked up a transition last year into that time of the presence or whatnot. But the point is that, as I grew, and it's been almost 7 months, and as I grew through that time, I kind of realized that, in order to understand myself, I got to understand a group of guys that are like me. Because first of all, I would have to ask myself, do I belong to a group? If I belong to a group, how would I find it? And it's crazy. I'll tell you, it was just a transition. When I knew myself, and I really started getting deeper and deeper, like into myself, everything I thought and felt, it just started matching me, and it wasn't like I just banded and matched. It was like I was getting deeper into myself. And as I moved forward, I kind of started swimming and I, learned how to swim and found, something that led me to something that eventually led me to a group. And then I started to understand what kind of guys that I was like. And it was so easy and natural, it was like they knew about me, and I knew about them, but I knew about them in like the lowest parts of my subconscious. You know what I mean? But when I really thought about it, I was like, whoa, man, like, some things you said, like you wouldn't believe it. Like whenever you said these things, there were times that I was literally walking outside, in an area like what you're talking about, and thinking the exact same words so many times, and words that are not common words, like I'm the coolest person in the world. You know what I mean? It was like words that were like very specific, and I was like, holy shit, man, those were the exact words that I thought, and it just so many times, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you got one home all of a sudden. No, it just means what kind of group that you were really associated with, as I got deeper in myself. And it was just me having ideas and attitudes and swimming. And eventually I landed there and I realized that, what, man, I'm part of a pool of sharks, man. And it doesn't necessarily have to be one particular city somewhere in one country. I mean, I really understood that, I understood where I was coming from and who I was. That, I was really just, because think about it. If a shark can't swim and a shark is not fully grown, even if it is fully grown or not, if a shark can't swim, how is it supposed to be among sharks? Because all the sharks can swim like deep in the deep waters. So if you're a shark in shallow waters, what are you but a sight for people to experience? That's all you are. You're a shark that can't swim. So what do? You come to the beach to eat crappy starfish. Not to say starfish are crappy, but it's like, you're eating starfish, and you're eating like the lowest of ash shrimp. I know we think as human beings shrimp are expensive and all really good. I mean, to animals in the water, shrimp was like the worst thing to eat. You know, even animals don't want to eat shrimp. You know, it's the lowest of animals that eat shrimp. So it's like, you know, it's just people seeing this shark, you know, they might want to surf with it. You know, they might want to surf a wave and you know, come near it and look at it, and they look at the sight and they enjoy it, you know. But once that shark learns how to swim, I mean, naturally, you know what's going to happen. As it learns to swim better and better, it's going to go deeper and deeper until finally it's into the deep ocean. And, you know, that's where that shark will figure out exactly, you know, what kind of group it belonged to, which is definitely a group of sharks, you know. But, you know, sharks come in all types of species. So at the end of the day, it'll know where it was belonging. You know what I mean? And I tell you, even when that shark is in shallow water and it can't swim, the other sharks know about it too. If the people know about it, believe me, the animals know about it. If the people know about it, the animals definitely know about it, and the big sharks definitely know about it. You know what I mean? Because you know why? That's a special thing too. You don't really... How many sharks have you seen that can't swim and stay in shallow beach water? You tell me. How many sharks have you seen, you know? So that's pretty much the first part of the video. And I don't think I really even need to say much, you know? It's very easy. But the second part I wanted to talk about was I kind of going further than that, you know? And then this is gonna seem really odd because I'm going from water to sky. You know, I'm literally talking about birds that fly. You know what I mean? Like, you know, taking flight is a cool thing too, you know, but you gotta remember that, you know, anything you do, it's not like anything you do in this life doesn't necessarily make you the shit, because you gotta understand that there's a lot of other creatures to compete with. You know, if you're swimming with sharks in the deep end, you know, you better believe it's not a joke. You know what I mean? You know, these are all sharks at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's not really easy swimming, is it? Is it easy to swim with a bunch of, you know, blood-hungry sharks? You think it's easy to swim with them? As a shark, even for a shark. Well, I'm a shark, they're sharks, this must be easy. No, absolutely not. This is the deep waters, man. This is not easy no matter what's around you. You know what I mean? You could swim with the sharks, but if you don't act right, you can pretty much get attacked. You know what I mean? But let's leave that behind. It's the same thing with flying. You know, when you're flying with birds, I mean, it's a competitive place, man. You don't think birds fight each other, man? You don't think that happens? You don't think birds get into fights? Listen, man, if humans get into fights with each other, animals do the same. There might be rare exceptions in the animal world that I don't know of a single one, because every animal that I know of fights with the other animal. From any animal that you can name, insect, amphibian, flying, mammal, vegetarian, meat eater, doesn't matter. They all fight, man. They all fight. Goats are a perfect example. They bang each other head to head so hard that their horns fall off sometimes. You know what I mean? Goats go at it, man. They bang, you know, they bang their heads together for female goats, for food. It doesn't matter. Oh, they eat grass, they're peaceful. Absolutely not. You got vegetarian animals that fight amongst themselves. There's animals that compete for females. There's animals that compete for food. You know what I mean? There are animals out there that compete for food, man. Like, okay, yeah, maybe they're not directly getting into the fight, but one of them is grabbing the food while the other is getting less food or not as good of a source of food. You know, but it's not easy to fly at all. I mean, there's so many species in the sky too. You got so many different, man, you got so many different types of birds, eagles. The American eagle, first of all, you know, the eagle is sacred in America. I just want to tell you that. In American culture, and they call it the American eagle, and by the way, that's a clothing brand. A very good and successful clothing brand is called American Eagle, right? Whose clothes I don't wear and I don't own, but I know that they're a good brand. You know, I'm not knocking them. It's not my brand, but I know it's a good brand. But, you know, in American culture, the eagle is like sacred, man. You know, it's on like some of their flags and some of their, you know, kind of like state flags or things like that in their history. You know, even in their history, I mean, the American eagle is big. You got, you know, Central Asians, down to some parts of the Middle East, they train hawks to hunt for them. Hawks will literally scoop down, get a rabbit, bring it back, and typically what they do is they take the rabbit's heart and they feed it to the hawk. And then they eat the rest of the rabbit amongst each other. It's like a delicacy because it's not really much food, but it's just a taste and a delicacy. And there's all types of birds, man. Even little birds, big birds, all kinds of birds. Some birds are little, but they got like 12 birds with them. Some birds are big, but they're only like 2 or 3 or 1. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter where you go or what you do. You're never living an easy life. You know what I mean? The truth is that if you learn to fly or you learn to swim in the deep waters, man, I mean, you're going to expect that, you're competing with, other animals that are on that level. Don't think that, listen, let's say you were in one kind of environment. Let's say you were in school or you were an athlete. Okay, let's say you were in school, you aced. This is just insane, man. Anyways, I'll get at that later. Let's say you aced everything with a 100 on everything, right? Everybody knows that you're the best academically. There's no competition whatsoever. But it's not like you're not competing with anybody, because you'll be competing with every other kid in every one of those environments that's in that situation. What does that mean? How many are you competing with, let's say, in one city? In one city, how many schools are there? I mean, for that grade, how many schools are there? 200, 300, 500, 600, 1,000? You got 1,000 other kids like you. And guess what? How many of them are there in the country? 100,000? How many of them are in the world? 100 million? 50 million? 20 million? So it doesn't matter what you do. When you think that you're out of the water or you're out of the sky and you're not competing with anything, always remember that you are. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, even chickens fight, man. Roosters fight, they call them, what do they call the black roosters? They fly, they don't fly, they fight, black roosters fight, man. And, and I'm telling you, I saw a documentary on roosters, and I'm not even kidding with you. Black roosters, they say, have 2 instincts and 2 purposes in life. One is to mate with female chickens, right? With like brown or white chickens. One is they mate with hens or chickens, female chickens, that's one. One is mating. The second thing that they do, and the only other thing they do, is fight other black roosters. You know what I mean? So you better believe, if you hear somebody talking about black cocks or black roosters, you better understand, where they're coming from. I mean, they will kill, to keep their woman, basically. You know what I mean? And they will fight amongst each other if the woman is hot enough and they want it. So, if you ever hear anybody saying that, oh, roosters are useless, or well, black roosters are ugly or anything like that, or they're useless. Remember, man, I mean, dude, even the Sphinx was black. You know what I mean? The Sphinx was black in Egypt. The Sphinx was black. You know what I mean? So you got to remember, a lot of these, there's people who talk a lot of shit, and they really disrespect roosters, because roosters that we understand today are boxers, basically, because cockfighting and boxing, some people actually believe that boxing is traced from cockfighting. But I'll tell you one funny thing. Roy Jones Jr., who was one of the best boxers of all time, has a lyric from one of his songs. It's called Y'all Must Have Forgot. And he has a music video. And he actually says in that video that he talks about a move he did, and they show it in the video. And he goes, I learned that move from a gamecock. You know what I mean? From a black rooster. So there are these women who are very, very, very narrow-minded, very culturally not educated, and they'll say things like, "Oh, these black cocks are useless. All they do is fight and with their fists and stuff. That doesn't do anything for me. I want a man that's gonna treat me right, that's gonna spoil me, that's gonna let me disrespect him, and is gonna take it like a pussy." You know what I mean? That's what they think. But the truth is that they always end up with game cocks, man. Usually black cocks is what they end up with. I mean, it is what it is. When you're like, dude, and some of these women are so narrow-minded, they just go deeper and deeper. One day it's okay, I'm just gonna fuck the black cock once. Then it's okay, I'm gonna date him. Then it's okay, let's get engaged. It's crazy. These women, you know what I mean? Respect animals, show respect to animals, and the ones who don't respect them, I don't agree with you, but you know, good for you anyways. Anyways, I'm done with this, and that's it.